So I welcome you today to the desk of the Executive Director of Back Bay Mission, and obviously we are not at my desk. I would much rather actually my desk be here at a coffee shop because I love coffee, as I know you do too. So these are the sisters of this coffee shop, Old City. Would you like to share your names and kind of where you grew up? Yeah.
I'm Ella. My last name's Edwards. I grew up right down the street over here on Main Street. And I've been in Biloxi my entire life.
I'm Desirae Edwards. I also grew up in Biloxi here on the east side. I don't remember the Main Street days. I was too young, but Strongee, Bone Avenue, that's what I remember.
So they're sisters.
Yes.
Edwards, right?
Yes.
Last name.
Sisters.
Younger, older? Should we not talk about that?
She's the older one.
I'm older.
You're the older
Yeah.
one?
Yeah, she's my little big sister.
How much older?
6 years.
Oh, my sister was 6 years older than I am.
Oh my
Faith, she's
goodness.
the one that lives up in Boonville.
That's awesome.
And she was so mean to me.
Same.
Uh-huh.
Same.
I grew out of mine.
She did grow out of it though. Like you stopped about a decade
Oh my
ago.
gosh.
Around up 20.
I still have scratches on my back from when she used her nails.
So she never used her nails, but once she
I just got
like
them.
kneeled me over
Oh,
and
really?
like kneed me. It was kind of
Oh, my
abusive.
gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
She was a child.
You gotta love your siblings, right?
I would hope that they love me after the abuse that I sustained, but it's
Oh,
fine.
yeah. And I always got blamed for everything, but it was probably right because I was the younger brother.
Oh, she didn't get blamed for that.
Always in trouble, really.
That was never a
That
problem.
was not me.
She didn't get blamed for nothing.
My sisters apologized to me so many times. I tell them that's okay, Faith. So anyway, we're here today to talk about this brand new coffee shop that opened yesterday. And it is a coffee shop owned by a woman and a woman of color. And we just want to kind of get their story because we think that's a very important part of our story in Biloxi, but our story as humans, right?
Absolutely.
As we live in this incredibly diverse, wonderful world, and I love when women get empowered, and especially women of color. And so I actually was driving by here from home, saw the sign was out, heard it was coming, slammed on my brakes and wheeled around and got a cup of coffee. And awesome coffee from Southbound Coffee.
Yes.
Up in northern or central.
Columbus, Mississippi. So
Yes.
it's like northern, sort of northern. It's just about an hour, 2 hours, no, 3 hours away. I'm sorry, that's a long
That's
drive.
where it's roasted, right?
Yeah, that's where it's roasted.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your vision for this coffee shop.
So Old City was kind of born out of a necessity. I love coffee. I love everything that goes into specialty coffee, from farming it to roasting it to resting it to grinding it to getting into that cup of coffee and having that sort of fleeting but really wonderful experience.
Yeah.
But there are great coffee shops around, but I'm hoping this one will be more community centered. So this, I like to think of it like a Trojan horse. I don't know if that's the best metaphor. I'm not trying to murder anyone. But if I pull people in with really great coffee and great service and they have that experience, I would like to be able to expound upon that and say, hey, do you know credit education? Do you know how to interview correctly? Like having sort of an after hours events that helps folks on the east side who maybe I wasn't taught this, my friends weren't taught this, my sister wasn't taught this. We had to learn by fire, unfortunately. So I'm hoping that myself and other folks in the community can come together and give out that knowledge that isn't so present as you're growing up, at least growing up as a kid from poverty.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you had shared that a bit with me. Do you want to talk a little bit about growing up as a kid from poverty and how that's kind of informed your life today?
Sure. Do you want to start or do you want me to? Okay. My mom worked hard our whole life. She was a housekeeper. You know, she was always very concerned with doing the best she could, but wages are meager. Even especially decades ago when she was working, she worked up until her body stopped working for her and she had to go into retirement. But when she went into retirement, she went into retirement with nothing. No savings, nothing like that, because my family, immediate in my family, we have a tradition of poverty. You know, it's generational poverty. work to feed our families, and we don't
Work
really
check to check.
right.
Check
We
to
don't
check.
really. We don't have the education that comes with having a comfortable life. We just come from, you've got bills to pay, you've got a family to feed. You can't really ask a lot of questions because this is money that's going to be helpful for you now. So my mom really instilled into us that you got to be working, you got to be working. But when she retired and she had nothing, it kind of made me step back and go, hey, where am I going to be in 30 years? And that has really informed me and how I've moved the past 5 years.
I don't have much to add. Just watching her struggle day to day.
Dude, she's great. Now, mind you, she's very spoiled now.
Yeah, she's living a comfortable life now.
Really?
She's very spoiled,
definitely
little
living
lady.
a comfortable.
But her struggles really informed mine, my way of looking at the world. And I'm hoping that I can help folks who come from childhoods like mine learn a little bit more, a little quicker than I did. Because my 20s were not great. So I had to work to repair that. So I'm hoping to catch people before they get to that point, at least, and teach them a little something.
That's great.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's a beautiful story because, as you know, at Back Bay Mission, we work with people that are unsheltered or who are traditionally called homeless or people living in poverty or near poverty. And part of our goal is also to keep people housed. So it would be, you know, homeless prevention for families especially, right? And I think you said your mom might have accessed some of the
Absolutely.
services at Back Bay
Yeah.
at one point, which says it's a small world, and the guy behind the camera knows your cousin.
How's my cousin?
Best friends with the cousin, so
Yeah.
I think it's a small world, right? And we're also, and Biloxi's small, and we're here though to support each other, to care for each other,
Right.
to be human to each other, and to be divine to each other too.
That's it.
And so this coffee shop is located right at kind of an intersection here in East Biloxi that's really kind of starting to come alive with the coding academy, with the coffee shop. We've got a grocery store across the street, so we're right here on Irish Hill and Porter Street.
That's it, yeah.
And we invite anybody and everybody to come to the coffee shop to support them in their endeavors. And what else would you like to say about yourselves and maybe about your journey? I know your plan is to roast your own coffee.
Absolutely.
Beans, right?
Yeah, so we dabble in roasting as well. Southbound's great. Also, just they do really great work with their charity and their outreach.
It's really smooth. I'd have to say it's one of the smoother cups of coffee
It's
I've had.
great coffee. They do a great job up there. And I'm not looking to do away with them. I'm just looking to add to what we offer here. But I don't really have anything else. I try and live by doing good and spreading joy. Doing good, spread joy. Like, it's very simple. Be a good person. And everything else hopefully falls into place for you.
Could you imagine if that was the mantra of the majority of the people?
Absolutely.
Doing good and living with joy and
That's
sharing
it.
joy and spreading joy?
That's
Man,
it.
that would be really powerful.
It'd be great to go outside a lot.
I know, right? Wouldn't it? And I know you both have come from other jobs, right? Do you want to explain a little bit about, you managed Taco Bell or did? But you're managing here.
Yeah, now I'm here.
Gave it all up. I manage a hotel. It's called the Hyatt. It's located on the beach. It's a fantastic property. It's great ownership. So it's just, that hotel sells itself. It's so nice.
That's great.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And this has been a passion of yours? Coffee has been, but also a
has.
coffee shop.
Coffee shops. As a kid growing up, going to a coffee shop and just being able to sit there and decompress. And it's weird because most of the coffee shops we had prior to some of the specialty ones opening up were just Starbucks or Dunkin' or something like
Right.
that. And they're loud. They're very loud. The grinder's always going, but it was a musical. Like, I just loved it. I got lost in it, and I was writing screenplays there for about 6
really?
years. Yeah. I was going to be a screenplay writer. It was a whole thing. I was moving
Still a
to
dream?
California. I was a backseat dream that I would like to look at once I have a bit more time. I've got a very big imagination. So I try to write, and I try to get that out when I can. But time is fleeting, and I don't have a ton of it to sit down and just hammer it out. Yeah.
What would you screenwrite? What would be kind of your genre?
Oh God, I love a good mumblecore indie film where there's a lot of talking and like examining of one's feelings. I just love it.
Rom-coms?
I think all my stories are love stories. I don't know if they're funny, but I think everything I write is centered in some sort of love. Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you think about love, I mean, it's really a hard concept, right? It really is. I mean, when you fall in love with somebody you love, or you love coffee, right? We use that word so much, but I think love is kind of, for me, it's like the most important gift we can give each other. That we can share with someone else.
Right, and something that you can always give to someone else.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. And you and I had shared that we're both a part of the LGBTQI community.
Yeah.
And so we don't have a different understanding of love. It's
No.
just love is love,
That
right?
is-
Period.
That's it.
Love.
And so that's the gift.
It's a very
Is that okay to
simple-
disclose?
Absolutely.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Okay.
The world knows.
Now the world will
My
know,
mother
right?
outed me to myself a few
The world.
decades ago.
Yeah. My auntie outed me.
Actually, it was more my sister, really. She really did the legwork there. I just had to wake up and
Yeah.
everyone just knew.
That's great. Well, and I know
Everybody
you.
knew but her.
Yeah, right. Well, that was my aunt. Like, I think my aunt knew way before I did. But I think that's a beautiful thing too, because that's something you want to create here as a safe space,
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
And a place for
Anybody and
people,
everybody's
right?
welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the sign in the back.
For sure. Yeah,
Right,
I think
so-
something as simple as holding someone's hand is one of the most connective things. It's skin to skin. It can be powerful, and to have folks in fear of that, just to walk outside and hold the person you love's hand. If we could live in a world where that is just not a thing, that would be a great world. Yeah.
That just gave me chills when you said that, because that's a beautiful thing, right?
Yeah.
And to walk out and hold somebody's
Yeah.
hand and have the freedom to hold whoever's hand you want to hold.
I will say I saw a lady holding another lady's hand. I see it quite often, walking up and down Howard Avenue. I don't know them. I want to know them. I think it's weird to shout at them though. But
Yeah.
it's like, thank you. Thank you
Right.
for just being yourself and living outside.
Right,
That's great.
right.
Hello.
Oh, that's beautiful. Well, thank you for sharing your space. This is the coffee shop, and
Thank
I'm
you.
assuming you will probably take a picture outside, Kevin. So just appreciate what you're doing for the community, and appreciate our strange connection already with Back Bay Mission,
Absolutely.
and sharing a lot of common core values,
Thank you.
and sharing the gift of love and the gift of coffee.
Absolutely.
Because I do think I love coffee.
I love
lot.
coffee.
A lot.
I do love coffee.
And I've been a bit disappointed with other coffee shops. I mean, you've got a great flavor. I probably shouldn't say that, should I? But it's smooth, and that was what everybody said actually when we brought coffee back to Back Bay. They were all kind of like, okay, we're going to go there.
Awesome.
So thank you. So
Thank
come on
you.
down, visit this coffee shop across from the Public Safety Center and across
Yes.
from Giant.
Yeah.
Right here in the corner, you can park in Giant's parking
You
lot.
can.
And it's Old Town Coffee, right?
Old City.
Old City
Old
Coffee.
City Coffee.
Old City
Town's
Coffee.
very like Lil Nas X. We should have wrote on that.
Right. And it's right in the corner almost of Porter and Irish Show. So
Yes.
thank you for your time, and thank you for being a
Thank
part of the
you.
Biloxi community.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Okay.